You know, a lot of people get out of school, they don't have any money, they don't have money to buy a car, they don't have money to put a down payment on a house, they borrow it, they go to work, and unfortunately, they never break out of the cycle of digging out of the hole. They're always borrowing and living below that zero line. Other people are very good about living within their means. They don't spend more than they make. In fact, they save up for big purchases. And when those big purchases come along, they drain their tanks and buy that car. But they forget to pay themselves back at interest. Isn't it ironic that the spender and the saver end up in the same place? They just go about it differently. That's quite a statement. I'll let them think about that. You, on the other hand, you're a wealth creator. You know, whether this was intentional or not, your instincts drove you to say, you know what, I'm going to use a mortgage to buy a property. I'm going to be able to fund more real estate deals, compound wealth on my balance sheet where I control it, and pay back other people over time. That's a very powerful concept. Let's see that as it works with our tanks. And I walk through the spender. I talk about the fact that way too many people, and again, the pandemic just was a layup in terms of giving us examples of people that had no margin for error. And because of that, they had no choice but to literally go into debt. And what is debt? It's a financial obligation that can only be repaid through money you have yet to earn. Contrast that with the saver. So many people save money for those big purchases. They get that they need to save for their future retirement. Their employer makes it super easy for them to just automatically fund that 401k plan. But when it comes to things like cars and college, they have a tendency to want to save that with after-tax dollars, set money aside specifically for that big cash outlay. And then because they like to pay cash, they like to avoid debt and paying other people interest, when that big expense comes along, they drain the tank, okay? As a wealth creator, we think you can be more strategic. You've already demonstrated that you can do it. We want you to save money not only for long ago tomorrow, way out in the distance called retirement, but how about college? Well, we're going to diversify and create some access to capital through collateralization and allow you to borrow for purchases without interrupting your compounding. And that way, you can do what you want to do without changing your current lifestyle or interrupting your ability to fund your future.